true.
there's no YouTube that we could watch the videos how those people live or what they do. Yeah, exactly.
How the lives were,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. So,
Yeah,
okay, no, I cut you off. You were saying something?
no, you're good. I was just gonna say, like, yeah, so I started sewing
Mm-hmm.
really young and just been doing it since then and have been obsessed with every step and like learning different types of
Mm-hmm.
ways to sew and not only like to sew, but different ways to like create a garment because you have the textile industry, you have the screen printing industry, you have the actual like seamstress industry. So like there's so many different routes that you can
Right.
create
Right.
clothing.
Wow. Nowadays it's just so easy. I mean, it's nowadays it's up to us. If we want to do something, we
Yeah.
just have to move. We just have to take action. The knowledge and all the resources are there. We just have to go and grab them and put our efforts in. That's the only thing.
Agreed.
But
Yeah.
I'm not talking about 5 decades ago or 4 decades, just like a decade ago or two.
Like our
Yeah,
parents, like growing
exactly.
up.
So
Yeah.
2 3 decades ago, it was like very very unique situation than now. Now it's so accessible, all the things. So your
Yeah.
sister helped with the sewing journey. Who else was, and how how it looks like?
It's kind of like my mom would help like here
Mm-hmm.
and there. I mean, my mom was a
Mm-hmm.
working mom, so she didn't really have like she'd get home, she'd cook dinner, and she'd go, "Okay, I'm
Okay.
tired. I just want to
Mm-hmm.
relax." Sometimes she'd have to bring work home
Okay.
with her, so like I would try to pick her brain and be like, "Hey, mom, how do I do this?" And she'd be like, "Oh, give me a second, figure it out, tell me." Or I'd be like, "Hey, mom, can you come to my room and tell me how I sewed this wrong because it's not
Right.
fitting right and I don't know what I did." Then she'd come and she'd be like, "Okay, this is where you messed up." And like she'd give me some pointers. But other than my mom and my sister
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte, like learning to sew was a self
Mm.
journey. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get this. This is my
Right.
journey. I'm going on. I did enter school. Like as soon as I got to high school, I took FITM's require like suggestions of what classes I
Mm-hmm.
should take, and I got involved with FHA, which is the Future Homemakers of
Okay.
America, and they work on all domestic things like sewing, cooking, cleaning, like all the things that you would see a traditional
Okay.
housewife do. They have
Oh wow.
competitions for in the high
Mm-hmm.
school level. So designing was one of them. So I signed up for that, started doing design contests, signed up for any sewing class that the school offered, any sewing class that the junior college in the area offered. Because I was like, I want to learn how to do this as well as possible.
Wow, that's amazing. But yeah, that's where I was coming right after of the other people's support, because you have to be passionate about it. You have to be self-learner to learn more, because not everyone can just, mix it and just, put it in your mouth and you drink it and you know everything. You have to do it's a whole self journey that you have to go through and learn about the
Oh yeah.
things, especially I believe for the designers. And when you design things and you sew clothes, you have to think about it. You have to use your brain cells and all that. How? Because sometimes I just get surprised how people think. And how did you come up with the ideas, or to sew something or to make a design with your hands and with not with much of the machines or equipments? How you do that? I mean,
I mean, you can find
I'm sorry, I'm cut you off. But like,
you,
or other things, how you also see other people, other designers. Maybe you can understand them better than me, so you can tell me that.
so going into design school, because right now that is what I'm
Yeah.
going for. The one thing that they teach you is you're never going to be able to look at people the same. You're never going to be able to look at the way they're wearing their clothes the same, because you now know how the human body
Mm,
moves. You now understand how clothes should
okay.
fit versus how the standard industry size doesn't fit like actual
Mm,
like regular shaped
right.
people. Like so for me, my thought process has always been, okay, I see that this doesn't fit right, I want to do that. And when I started school and I got told that, I was like, oh my gosh. So I already was thinking like a designer. I was already thinking, oh, I see the way that person is dressed, but it would fit them better if it wasn't so tight around the belly, or it wasn't so tight around the
Mm,
chest, or it fit them better if it was a straight pant instead of a flare pant. Like you start to really like notice that. And I guess for me, because I started to love fashion so young, that developed really
Mm-hmm.
early for me. But yeah, in the beginning of fashion school, they tell you like you're never going to be able to look at a piece of garment on a
Yeah,
person again, because you're kind of breaking it
exactly.
down. You're like,
I
okay,
totally get you.
you're seeing the steps that they took to get there, and you're like, I know where they messed up. They messed up
That's
on
right.
this step. They didn't do this
That's
part.
actually one of the greatest points that you just mentioned, because it reminds me of my journey, because I'm a certified graphic designer. So when I became a graphic designer back in 2017, and whenever I go outside and then look the banners on the big banners or the social media advertising, I was like, so they blended from here, they use a gradient color, they use this tool in Photoshop or AI or whatever the thing is. So you kind of break it down. You don't see it as a design, you see what behind it, how the person think
Hmm.
about it to make the designer come up with that, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay, I'm
exactly what
glad.
I'm
Okay,
saying.
so there's some creativity in me too. I'm glad.
Yeah, there definitely is. I'm a strong believer. Everybody has some creativity in them and has the
Okay.
ability to be
Mm-hmm.
an artist. It's just a matter of sitting down and being like, "Hey, I'm gonna do
Hmm.
it, and I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna be proud of what I make." Because nobody starts off perfect. Nobody starts off good. Nobody starts off excellent and like the top of their
Hmm.
field. Literally,
Everyone.
everybody starts
Exactly. That's
shitty. Like everybody starts at
exactly.
the
Not
bottom.
everyone. You look every successful person. They start from the bottom. They messed up with everything
Mm,
that they started, and then they learn. Of course, there's one thing that they never quit. They would just keep going, and that's how you
exactly.
learn, and that's how you grow. But that's actually a great point. If somebody believes, and as you mentioned, everybody's creative, how can they start? How they can find, or when they're sitting down, what are the first step they should do to start the process?
I think they already did it. They sat down. They started thinking
Okay.
about it. That's like
Okay.
the first step you
Yeah.
need to do is sit down and be like, hey, how can I tackle
Mhm.
this problem?
Oh wow.
And then it's like start try to get like be like, okay, if I can't think
Mhm.
of anything, think something crazy. Think of something that like that would be in the MCU or in DC world. Be like, you know what? If I had a superpower, this is what would
Mhm.
happen. And then be like, how can I make that superpower a
Right.
reality? Like, what about that superpower is super? Okay, what do we have in today's
Mhm.
world that can be equivalent to that
Mhm.
power, and then do it.
Yeah.
Like I know it's easier said than done, but I truly believe like even when I'm in my own creative
Mhm.
rut, just start scribbling, just start making shapes, because it's all the human body is just shapes. We're a bunch of squares, cylinders, and circles. That's like all we
Exactly.
are. We're just some weird shapes put together.
Wow.
So just start making some shapes. Like that's literally
That's
how I started. When I was
that's
7 years
amazing.
old, I was making like square
Okay.
dresses, triangle
Mhm.
tops, and I legit thought that that's how you were supposed to
Mm.
sew. So like I would cut out triangles to make the halter tops, like, and it worked to an extent. It wasn't exactly stable because of my stitch work, but like shape wise, we our torsos are very like rectangular shape. You have the
Right.
chest, which is wider, and then you go down into your
Yes.
hips, which is an upside down
Mhm.
triangle. So just do shapes. It's like honestly the best way to start is just start randomly putting together some random stuff. Eventually, something's gonna look good.
Wow. I mean, that's creative. I mean, you break it down so well. So, if a person's starting right now, you told the first steps that he or she has to do.